All right, let's get this custom hook tested. So what we're going to do is make a function component that resembles the type of component people are going to write when they're using our custom hook. And so here we're going to have a use counter hook example. And then here I'm going to call that use counter. And I know that this returns the count, increment, and decrement here. And this needs to be use counter. There we go. And then we'll just return a div that has a div for the current count. And we'll say the count right there. And then a button with an on click that calls decrement. And this will be decrement. And then another one that says increment right here. And then we can render this use counter hook example and verify that our use of that custom hook is going to work. So we'll do render our use counter hook example, and then we'll get our increment from screen get by role button with the name increment. And we'll do the same thing with our decrement right here. And then we'll get our message element from screen get by text current count. We'll ignore that case there. And now we can start interacting and making assertions. So let's go ahead and expect the message to start out with current count 0. Let's go ahead and save that. Make sure everything's working so far. Good, good. And then we can say user event, click on that increment button, and we'll verify that this gets incremented by 1. And then we'll click on that decrement button and verify it goes back down to 0. Sweet, we're in a good spot here. And if you take a look at your code coverage report, then you'll notice that use counter has 100% code coverage, because we run this when we run our function, and then we run this function when we call increment, which is called when we click on the increment button. We run this function when we click on the decrement button, and so we've covered everything here. The only thing we've got left here is the configurability, which I will go ahead and leave that to you. So you can go ahead and add some extra tests here for the initial count and step to make sure that those are supported. So what we did here to test our custom hook is we made a test component that uses the custom hook in the same way that people will typically be using our custom hook. And then we tested that custom component and we got really great coverage on our custom hook. I feel like this type of a test is really easy to read and understand. So if I were building this today, this is the type of test I would write.